Alright, hi people, it's Scsigs here, and welcome to first unboxing I have filmed of the new year, even though, you've had probably about a month, maybe a month and a half of regular unboxings that I filmed back in, I think it was December of 2023, but yeah. And, one that I did not necessarily expect to do, but there was a listing for these on Amazon for $25, which is about, I think, $10 less than what these were listed at, or even maybe half, maybe a little over half of what these were originally listed at when they first came out, I think a year or two ago. But yeah, it's the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Mighty Morphin, Red Ranger, Trini, and Yellow Ranger Jason 2-pack, basically the color swap 2-pack from one of the comic storylines. These, I don't believe, are the first comic book based Rangers, because I think the first one that they did was Psycho Green, but basically, because they did the 5-pack of the Psycho Rangers, and they did Psycho Silver, and then I guess they decided, or at some point, they decided to do Psycho Silver, or Psycho Green as well, just because they had the molds, and all they had to do was change the color, so, yeah, or change the main color. But yeah, I decided not to get this at the time because there were QC problems in regards to, unfortunately, loose joints and stuff like that. But with these being lowered to $25 on Amazon, and I got a $50 Amazon gift card, I got this, and I also got another thing. I don't know if I'll do a video on it, but yeah, with that, so decided, hey, why not get it? Throughout this year, I might also catch up on Lightning Collection by getting the other figures I actually would want to get, like the Ninjetti versions of the Mighty Morphin Rangers from Season 3, and in Kimberly's case, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, I believe. Actually, no, I think she was also in that for Season 3 of MMPR. And then a few here and there that I either missed out on or just didn't get at the time, so we'll see. But yeah. So this is an unboxing and review of this. I didn't mention that, but yeah. So let's look at the box more up close. Got a couple renders of them. These look more CG than anything. And you got two fully formed renders of them right here, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection logo. And the Boom Studios logo, the names of the Rangers and everything, Hasbro 4+. And this side, which is this, but the Red Ranger flipped, and yeah. Again, they look kind of like 90s CG. Reminds me of a Transformers, was it Beast Wars? Something like that. Yeah. So, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then that. And then in the back, we got the two figures right here, and what they come with. Which, interestingly enough, for this, they come with all three versions of the Blade Blaster. I did not know that. But yeah, this was before the remastered versions of the Mighty Morphin Rangers. And here as well, this is where they fixed the Red Ranger's helmet. And then they subsequently, or maybe, no, they might have, actually no, I think they fixed it for the Metallic Rangers. And then they used it here in a regular variant. And then they put the this variant on the remastered Mighty Morphin Red Ranger. But yeah. So here we go. Alright, so there we go. Ooh, that is... what the fuck? The arm of the Red Ranger it ripped the tissue paper bag, and for some reason came off in the box. Why? I think I can just pop it back on, but that's not good. Yeah, because there's a hole right there where I guess when they were packaging it, for some reason, Well, that's not good. I'm genuinely trying to pop this arm back onto the fucking socket. Okay, I had to pause the recording just to do this, but yeah, I got the arm back on, thankfully. It took some twisting and some friction, but I got it back on. Yeah, that's a oh, and I think I accidentally twisted her torso around. But yeah, no, that's not great. And I will say, this is an isolated incident. I did not say that in let's say the review of what was it? I'm trying to think of the specific review. I think it was Mighty Morphin Yellow, the remastered version that I got last year. It's an isolated incident. This is not... I've done hundreds of these reviews so far, or maybe, no, somewhere between 100 and 200 for a lot of these figures. This is an isolated incident. It is not indicative of everything, okay? I need to say that because for some reason, everyone's looking at Hasbro like they're the next coming of the Antichrist, and like, I don't know. Like, Hasbro is not the worst toy distributor, and then people are also like, they're very, very much romanticizing the last of the Bandai years, I think, because Bandai was not much better than Hasbro. In fact, in some cases, they're worse. At the very least, Hasbro's willing to shake things up, and for their collectors' Lightning Collection figure line, they're willing to give us more than fucking Mighty Morphin when it's not an anniversary series or anniversary year. Okay? You ever notice that? You ever notice how the only action figures you get, or you got with the final years of Bandai, were the current Ranger team as figures, and then Mighty Morphin, okay, and sometimes other things like In Space and Zeo, mainly just focusing on the early years of the franchise rather than, incorporating some of the later stuff, and then always focusing on the early Saban era for some reason. Just that era. Unless if it was during Super Megaforce where they produced Red Rangers and some of the Sixth Rangers for regular action figures, none of the other members of the teams. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm just saying that right now. I have so much I hate people who romanticize Bandai and shit on Hasbro as if Bandai could do no wrong. Bandai can do wrong, so shut the fuck up. But anyways, yeah, so I got the arm back on the socket. You can see that the plastic, I don't know if it's going to be captured on camera, but I'm seeing it right now. The plastic's a bit stretched from how I had to finagle this shit back on. But yeah. So, and then we have the one that has the most problems for a lot of people is Jason. And yeah, I can already see it. This is similar to Time Force Blue. It's a different body. It's more fitting than Jason's build versus Time Force Blue, but yeah, I can see the problems of the loose joints, at the very least with the legs, but I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, that was just a packaging error from when it got packaged at the factory it came from. So, cool your fucking jets in the comments. I say that because I did get I did get a few people in the comments. First off, for remastered Mighty Morphin Yellow, where someone's just like basically saying fuck Hasbro, or Hasbro are the worst, or whatever, and I'm just like, this is an isolated incident. It's not indicative of the line as a whole. Shut the fuck up. It's basically not exactly what I said, but the spirit in which I said it. And then someone in my review of the Dino Charge Blue Ranger thought I was a Hasbro shill because I gave it a positive review, even though, you know, it's a good figure and I had no problems with it. Why wouldn't I give it a positive review? I don't know. People are fucking dumb. So anyways, Power Sword. The helmets, which slightly different from the remastered one, and I have the figures off camera and I'm going to compare them in a bit. Lightning effect piece, which I don't really care for, but whatever. Karate chop hand and a fist. Okay. And then we get the 3 different versions of the Blade Blaster in gun mode, sword mode, and holstered mode. So yeah. So next up we have yellow. We get, again here, 3 different versions of the Blade Blaster. 2 lightning effect parts for the power daggers. Helmet, which, yeah, that basically just didn't get changed. And yeah, they didn't enlarge the Yellow Ranger's helmet for some reason for this figure, and for the Red Ranger they didn't shrink it a little bit, just for some reason. I don't understand why. So they don't quite fit the builds of these Rangers. And then 2 fist hands. So yeah. Now, on to the reviews. Yeah, so because of how I had to reattach this, the arm is looking to be sticking out a little bit more than it should be. Okay, hopefully that doesn't pop off again. So I can go in a 360 at the head, you can move all over the place, and spin it around in a 360. Butterfly joints, a little loose, but they're fine, I think, on this one. Move the arm up and down in a bit of a 90-degree angle. The elbows have a double ball joint, which is nice. And yeah, torso can move back and forth, as well as all around. Legs, you can move them in a 90-degree angle. They have the drop-down hips, which on this one are actually pretty good. They're decently stiff. So, yeah. Looks like they, I don't know. Anyways, double ball joints for the knees, which is nice. And then for the leg, or for the lower legs, feet, move them up and down. And like that, break the ankle. So, yeah. And then we get Jason, which both these heads are based on the comic variants of them, which don't really look that great. But yeah, so his head can move a bit around, and then in a 360, it moves his entire neck rather than just the top part where the head's connected. Butterfly joints move back and forth. These are okay, I would say. Arms can move in a bit of a 90-degree angle. 360 on these. Elbow joints or elbows are on double ball joints. And then you can move the hands in 360 like that. I don't think I showed this off on the Red Ranger. And you can kind of move them side to side if they have the things for it. You move them back and forth like that, as well as all over with the torso, which is fine. The legs, the drop-down hips are loose, unfortunately, just a bit. Move his legs up in a 90-degree angle. Move these in a 360. These are half sort of loose, half stiff, but they're stiff enough to stay where they are. Move these in a 360 if you want. And then the feet move back and forth. Break the ankle. But yeah. So, just taking a look at these. I think that they look okay. But yeah. It really does bother me that because the arm came out of the socket, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to go down as... yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to go down as much as this arm, which makes it stick out like a sore thumb. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah. Place the heads with the helmets. There we go. And yeah. So, yeah, you can tell the helmet's maybe a little bit too big. But it otherwise looks fine, I think. Man, he's got a pinhead. Jason's got a pinhead on this body. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why, but they didn't make the... Yeah, the helmet's a little too small for this thing. I don't think the hole where the ball joint goes into is really that great. Okay. It doesn't snap in, but... So... Yeah, like I said, pinhead. And it's even more apparent with the helmet, I think. But yeah, so take a look at a side-by-side with the remastered Red Ranger. You can tell that they slightly redesigned it a bit more for the helmet. So it is just more, I guess, let's say circular on the Lightning Collection version, or the remastered version. But I think that the one on the color swap version is actually pretty good. It's a bit more narrow, but it looks much better than the first variant of the Red Ranger that we got. And we have these two. Oh, actually looking at it, it looks like they did slightly enlarge the helmet, maybe. To me, at the very least, maybe. I don't know. Just seeing them right next to each other, it looks like maybe they did increase the size of it a little bit, but yeah. Or maybe they just shrunk it for the remastered version. But yeah. And they do match up pretty well in regards to coloring, since the Mighty Morphin / G-Ranger suits are pretty easy, pretty uniform in terms of design and everything. It's not that hard to do, as you can see. And the Lightning Collection version has slightly more paint. And then, let's compare these two just for fun. Yeah, you can tell that they reused most of this body mold. They just made the joints a bit better for the remastered version and everything, because they look very similar in regards to builds and everything. And then, yeah, I think that these are mostly, if not exactly the same bodies or body molds, just recolored. So, yeah. So, in regards to these two, mine, minus the arm being out of the socket for no reason in the box, But I was able to reconnect it, so not too big of a thing right there. I would say I just needed a few minutes of finagling to get back on the socket, or back into the joint. Basically, this is okay. I personally don't have as sour of an opinion on it as some other people do. I understand, though, that not a lot of people like the looseness of the Yellow Ranger, but in regards to his joints, for mine specifically, I'm just going to note that, for mine specifically, he doesn't really have too many loose joint problems. The only loose joint problems are the drop-down hips. Those are the only ones I'm seeing. Some other things are maybe a little loose compared to other figures, but that's the Lightning Collection line in a nutshell. You get kind of a gamble there. But yeah, other than that, they come with all the accessories that they should. There are no missing accessories as far as I can tell. The heads are fine if you like the comics and you want comic heads. I would think that they would maybe want to do the other color swap versions of the Rangers, but maybe with the backlash towards this, they decided to hold off on that. I don't know. You would think that they would want to do that, though. Considering, I think they did... Didn't they make Billy the Pink Ranger? And Kimberly the Blue Ranger? At one point? I need to read the comics. But I swear I've seen a screenshot of one of the comics panels where that happened. Not sure what they did with Zach for his Black Ranger powers and who they swapped him with, but But yeah, so I'm personally not having too many problems with the figures overall once they're finally good to go. So yeah, so again, your mileage may vary. I don't have as many problems with these as other people have had. But again, it's up to you if you want to get these. So yeah. The fact that they're on Amazon for a little over half off what they were originally priced at is just funny. So I believe these were exclusive to Pulse and maybe some of the fan channels, but yeah. That's just funny to me. But yeah. So yeah, so not much else to really say, so link, subscription, all my shit, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.